Listen, Kyle, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us. Come on. Just wrapping up our trip, 3 days. And the big takeaway here is I never travel any place just to see one person. So when you sales guys are out there traveling, you need to then try and find 1 or 2 or 3 other people to see. The commodity manager of Electrolux wanted me to text her. That was her preferred method of contact. She was getting 200 emails a day. She said, just text me. This was 5 years ago. I'm like, okay. Literally could get her every time.
What's up, guys? Kyle Milan here with Manufacturing Tribe TV. Today we're at MD&M Minneapolis show.
You're always going to remember that person that was different than everybody else. So let's talk standing out and being unique.
We're back with another episode. We've increased some of our production value, so hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Brett's got a question. How segmented do you make the emails every 2 to 4 weeks? Are you sending to the broad group of contacts or do you customize? I think that you could do it both ways, but I think in general, everybody needs to see your content. Everybody needs to see something that you're creating and something that you can provide value to.
You can tell a story a whole lot faster in a 3-minute video than you can in a 14-page article or 10 2-page articles.
Everything's about brand awareness and content right now, and it will continue to be that. So focus on producing some sort of content, and if you're selling B2B, which I'm assuming most people here are, focus on LinkedIn.
Number one, we do not charge for this stuff. I put all of my content out there for free. Send it to somebody that you feel may get some value out of it, and also engage. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll get to all of the comments after the break. Those comments mean the world to us because it shows that you guys care. So don't just sit there and watch, but please engage and hit those thumbs on LinkedIn. We live?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. We got new systems, new procedures, new setups. So yeah, it is Wednesday. What are we talking about today? We're talking about industrial sales, technical sales, industrial marketing. I'm Kyle Milan, your host. We go live twice a week for those of you that are new to the broadcast, new to the channel. Mondays is Q&A. People send questions over to askkyle@mfgtribe.com. We answer those questions as well as any live questions. We answer all of those. So if you guys have comments throughout me talking and rambling about breaking into OEMs, put them in the comment section. We will get to them after the commercial break, after we go through whatever it is that I want to talk about today, which typically is somewhat fly by the seat of my pants. So if you guys are struggling with breaking into strategic OEMs and you're in manufacturing or industrial marketing and sales, then on this episode, I'm going to go through some tips and strategies on how I think you should do it to be effective. So without further ado, we will get into it. Are we good, team, with the live? Everybody says that we're good. All right. So, hopefully you guys have, like, the whole purpose of this episode is talking about OEMs. So you've got strategic OEMs that you're going after. You're trying to be added as a supplier, whether you are supplying injection molding services. I always go to injection molding because that's what I spent a decade in, or you're in machining or robotics or integration or something like that, or you make, airplane seats and assemblies and stuff like that. Regardless of what it is, you have a manufacturing service, an industrial service, and you are trying to break into those OEMs and you're coming up with struggling to get through, which is super common. So the issue that I've seen is that step one is you have to make sure that your strategic list is built out. So who are you trying to go after? If you don't know who you're trying to go after, if you're like, dude, I want to go after these large companies, I want to go after these large OEMs, Fortune 500, whether it's in agriculture, aerospace, appliance, anything like that, you can build a list quickly on using LinkedIn, just going to people that you know. So if you're going after ag, like John Deere, and then looking at similar companies on the right-hand side, if you're using Sales Navigator, you can do the same thing. LinkedIn will tell you, hey, here's some similar companies like this. And you want to build out your list like that to determine who are these strategic OEMs that I'm going after. Now, a lot of you may already have a list that you've been working for 10, 20 years through different companies, or your company has provided you with your list, like, this is who I want to get into. I've been in both sides of it. I've worked at industrial companies and the owners are like, dude, I want to get into, one example was the owner of one of the companies I worked at said, I want to get into Pampered Chef. I want to make Pampered Chef products. So that was very strategic to them. Other people are like, I want to get more focused into John Deere. It doesn't matter whether you're in the situation where you don't know, you can quickly and easily figure it out. And we've got tons of videos out there on my YouTube channel where I talk about prospecting and building a prospect list, or your company has already said, here's your group of accounts. These are who we want to get you into. You need to organize those accounts, hopefully in some sort of CRM system. But if you're old school and your company doesn't have a CRM system, then you're probably doing it on a spreadsheet. But the first step is organize those lists together to make sure that you know exactly who you're going after. And there may be some people that are like, dude, I already know that, like, get to the beef of it. So let's talk about the circle of influence. So traditionally, you're trying to break into a company and you are saying, I know the decision maker is this person. They're the director or the VP of engineering, or they're the commodity manager. They're the global commodity manager. I know that they're the decision maker and I want to go after them. And you can do that. But a lot of times those people are busy, and whether you're email marketing to them, calling them, poking them on LinkedIn, they're so busy that you can't break through the noise that's out there of pulling their attention away, and they're never going to look at what it is that you're sending them. They're never going to pick up the phone and call you back. So let's talk about the circle of influence. The circle of influence is if that decision maker is right in the middle of a circle, then you want to focus on everybody outside of that circle of influence that can provide influence to the decision maker. So if the decision maker is in the middle, you have to look at their entire team. If they're in commodity management, look at all the buyers, the sourcing people, the planners. If they're the director of engineering, look at all of the engineers below them. And you want to connect with, market to, call them, email market them, poke them on LinkedIn, build out your network to try and engage with them, because those people may be easier to get a hold of, and those people will then pass on your information to the decision maker. It could be in a meeting where they're talking about weekly meetings or issues that they're having with operations, with the plant floor, and one of the guys or girls is like, hey, I was talking to this guy Joe, or I always see this content on LinkedIn from this guy that I'm connected with, and they have this product or this service. I think we should reach out to them and give them a call, or set up a meeting to see if they can help us out with this problem. The whole thing is that you want to create cheerleaders within the potential customers that can do the selling for you to at least get you to have an initial meeting. So in order to do that, you have to go outside of just the decision maker and go into the circle of influence. The other aspect of it is that you need to also look at other departments. So engineering and operations, they have meetings together. They talk all the time, whether it's weekly, biweekly, monthly. You can look at other departments heads. If you've got purchasing people and that those are the decision makers, going through engineering, going through operations, sometimes even going through the sales and marketing channels can get you the information that you need to try and reach out to those people or get your name in front of them to get some sort of FaceTime with them. So the circle of influence is super important. And every single day when we talk to people, I ask them, who are you trying to go after? This company you're trying to go after, they're trying to go after Caterpillar, let's say. Well, I'm going after the director of engineering. I'm going after the global commodity manager of metals. And that's it. And who else are you trying to go after? Well, that's the decision maker. No, dude, that's a wrong approach. Continue to go after them. Maybe you'll get lucky enough. Maybe you'll break through and get a conversation with them. But you should also at the same time go after everybody. Think about it from this standpoint. If everybody in that department knew who you were, the service that you offered, and the products that you provide, would that be beneficial? And most likely the answer is going to be yes, it would be beneficial to some degree, some level. So if that's the case, then you need to look at it from a standpoint like, I want to connect with everybody in this circle of influence to see if I can get information from them, to see if I can provide value to them and get them to sell and market for me internally into meetings that you will never be a part of. So it's focusing on trying to create cheerleaders of your brand inside that company by engaging with them. Now, if you try and go after this circle of influence and just connect with them and sell to them and market to them right away, it will not work and you will fail. You have to look at it from the standpoint that I need to try and provide value. A product development engineer, new product development engineer, somebody like that, provide them with some sort of value. Create a piece of content for them. Write an article. If you already have an article, a guide, something like that, and send it to them. Be like, hey, I think that you might get some value out of this, and have a good rest of your week. And that's it. Don't try and say, and if you do, then call me because I want to sell to you, because that does not work. Even from a marketing standpoint, if you do, book time with me. I get messages all the time from people that say, here's something that we help marketing agencies, whatever, we help sales companies do whatever. And then it's like, and if you've got time, book 10 minutes with me right at the end, every single time. So it's like, here's something, book time with me, or just book time with me. So it has to be a two-way street where you're trying to provide value at some level. So that's really the step, to look at the entire circle of influence, try and provide value to everybody, try and get everybody to know you, multiple locations. It does not matter. You want to try and go after everybody all at the same time within your strategic account list. If you guys think that that works, if you guys have seen that work like we have, then leave a comment below and be like, yep, that's true, it worked. Or if you say like, dude, I tried that doesn't work, let's talk about it. Leave a comment and I will provide some additional information for you on maybe something that you're doing wrong. The next section we're going to talk about is a free offer. What is choking over here, man? Just talking and talking. This is the downside of doing it live, right? Everybody sees the little cuts that we have. All right, so the free offer. There have been a couple times since I've owned MFG Tribe, the industrial marketing agency, that I've come across people. I'm like, man, you know what? That brand, that company, I would love to do their marketing for them. So what am I going to do? I want to do something for free to show them. I don't just want to say, hey, you do an industrial service. We're an industrial marketing agency. We do X, Y, and Z. We can help boost your brand, increase your revenue, blah, blah, blah. Give us a shout. I just was like, let's just create something free. So we did. We created a bunch of graphics because they were posting graphics to LinkedIn every day and they were kind of And so I was like, we could do something better. Let's create 4 or 5 graphics and just shoot them over to them, their head of marketing and the owner of the company, and be like, check this out. Use them if you want. We created them for free. I didn't say, and let's have a conversation. I just said, we created these for you guys. I hope that you get some value out of them, because that's what it's about. Go into it with no expectations, saying, I'm going to provide this to you for free. I don't expect you to purchase from me. I don't expect a conversation, but I'm just trying to provide value. And sometimes that works. But a lot of times people go into like, I'm going to do this and they better purchase from me afterwards. Do you know how many times we've done that? Created graphics, created free offers, created audits for people, and then nothing comes from it. We don't even get a response, or the response is thanks for sending, and that's it. And then they never use it. We know it's better. We've heard from other people in the company that they had a conversation about it. They know that it's better. They want to use it, but it just doesn't happen. And then you can follow up and be like, hey, do you guys ever get, some feedback on that thing that we sent you? And then you don't get the feedback, or maybe they say, yeah, we loved it. Great. Maybe we'll have a conversation in the future. It's all about what can you do right now for somebody for free. And you guys may be thinking like, dude, I'm a sales engineer. I'm a business development manager for a robotics integration company. Like, I can't do anything for free. Yeah, you can. You can create some content for free, right? You can create a video. You can write an article for free. You can say, hey, I just want to do a quick audit of your machinery equipment. I'm in the area. Can I do a quick audit? And I'll give you this report at the end. Like, you got to think outside the box of, it doesn't have to be something that your company, your department, the engineering team, the estimating team, whatever, they have to create some sort of thing. Software engineers have to get involved. Keep it super simple. Maybe include one other person. What's something that I can provide to that specific company for that specific instance of what we do for free today or tomorrow, and go out and do that. We're going through it right now. Nick's in the process. We had a company reach out, and they're a massive company, and we want to be their partner with what they reached out to us for. And so it's been going slow, and it's a slow discovery process, and they're kind of dragging their feet. So I was like, you know what we need to do? We need to show them what we could do. Let's create some free video content for them based on the theory that we think something should look like, and let's send it over to them. And is that investing a lot of hours into it? It is. Like, it's not cheap. It's free for them. It's not free for us. But the upside of it is, even if they don't go with us, we've given them some sort of creative idea on how they can take their content that they're currently doing and take it to the next level. And that's something that we are willing to do all the time for those companies that I'm like, yes, we want to do business with that company. What can we do right now for them for free to get them to pay attention to us? And you guys can do the same thing. You don't have to be in marketing to do it. You sales guys can do it all the time with capital equipment audits. Like, let me provide you with this free conversion tool, mail them something. Like something in plastics that we used to do all the time is that we used to send engineers, design engineers, these little blocks that we would make that would show the thicknesses of ribs and holes and what does it show on the opposite side of the surface as far as read through on the plastics. And you plastics people know what I'm talking about. Those things were around forever. Everybody had their own little like Tetris block, and when you open it up, you can be like, oh, this is what a 1/4 inch thickness wall or rib looks like on the opposite side. It's pulling the plastic down because it's not able to cool, and so I could see it on the surface. And you're able to show them that for free, and we would mail it to tons of people and have our logo on it, and those guys would be using it when they're designing plastic parts. They'd be using it to think of how they need to redesign it, and it's just a free tool, conversion tool, a calendar. Like other things that we had is like calculating the date. If I start a project on this date, what is 13 weeks from this date? Having the little dial wheel that we would use all the time, and it would have the tooling company on top of it, their logo. Like that's free stuff. As long as you put your brand behind it, they'll always have that. So you have to think about, what can I offer for free to that company to get them to pay attention to you? Because that's all it's about. You're just asking for them to pay attention. You're not saying buy from me. You're just saying look at me, right? Can I do a LinkedIn Live and produce some free content that I could then share out to those people? Like we do free stuff every single week. And the purpose of it is to try and provide value to anybody that's watching it. Hopefully there's something that I've said so far, and you're like, you know what, Kyle, I'm going to do that. That's a good idea. And then it provides value to you. Now, if in the future you want to use our industrial marketing agency for your company, great. If you don't. I don't care either way. Like it doesn't hurt me. The whole goal of this is to provide value to you. And all we're looking for is people to say, yes, I got value. And then that means that what we're doing is actually working. So the next thing is going to be looking at strategic content. So you've got account-based marketing, right? We're going after strategic OEMs. You're cold calling them, you're email marketing them, you're doing all the stuff, you're poking them on LinkedIn, you're still not breaking through. Can you create some strategic content that will get them to pay attention? That's the theme of this episode, is you just want them to pay attention to you. You're like a needy kid that's just like, pay attention. I'm being super needy. That's all you're looking to do, is get them to stop, look at what you have to offer for 5-10 seconds and see if it's of interest to them. And one way to do that is to create strategic content if that's relevant specifically to them. If you're going heavy after a specific company, John Deere, Case New Holland, Electrolux, Whirlpool, whoever it is, you're trying to go after that specific company. What if you created content specifically for them, where it's not even industry specific? It's not even, this is what we do for agriculture companies. This is what we do for the aerospace industry. This is what we do for mining. It's specific to their company, where you don't need to put their logo on it, but you can. There's certainly creative ways for you marketing people to take one of their products that looks similar and create a graphic around it, and how you help solve challenges that product or that line of product categories goes through, and how your solution can provide value to them, or how something that it is that you can do can provide value. But creating very strategic, industry-focused, company-focused content, because as they see it, whether it's through email, whether it's through something that you send in the mail, whether it's through LinkedIn, if they see something that's very relevant to them, where it's like, that's damn near one of our products, that looks exactly like the tractor that we produce, and they're scrolling through LinkedIn, they see it, they're going to stop. That's all you're trying to do, is get them to stop, pay attention. Hopefully the copy is short and sweet and to the point, and then they're going to read into it a little bit further. Maybe they click a link. Maybe when you email them something, you're talking about something specific to them. It's a problem that they specifically have, and that is going to trigger the relevancy standpoint in their brain. They're going to be like, this is relevant to me. I want to click it and see it. This is different than everybody else that just goes in with the show up and throw up of whether you're pitching or sending out email marketing, which is like, these are our features and benefits. These are the things that we can do. This is everything that we can do for you. Pick one, and I'm sure that it can solve your problem. And I'm sure that you have a need for all these features and benefits. And a lot of times that doesn't work. You just want to focus, like a conversation when you're going through sales. You don't need to go in there and say, here's everything that we can do for you. This is a whole laundry list of our services and capabilities. Nope, doesn't work. You need to ask them a question. What's 2 things that you're struggling with right now, right? For those of you that follow my content closely, you know that I'm very bullish against going in and showing up and throwing up on your pitch and just asking questions, and then shut your mouth and listen for the answers. And then from that standpoint, once you listen to the answers, then you can then customize what you want to say around what is an actual problem that they're having. So think about that. What can you create? How can you create strategic content that's hyper focused, hyper specific to an industry, a niche, to a specific company? If there's 4 companies you're trying to go after, and you know those 4 companies are on your massive hit list, and they can change your sales quota, they can change your revenue trajectory for your business, you know you want to go after them, then create 4 different pieces of content that's hyper focused, so niche down to their specific industry, their specific problems, and their, whether it's a service or a product that they sell that you're trying to go after, so hyper focus on them and have the branding and the messaging match with that. That's really what it's all about. If you've already done the work of saying, I'm doing account-based marketing, I'm going after these strategic accounts, everything across the board has to match the messaging of going after those accounts all at the same time. So we're going to take a quick, short 90-second-ish break, 2 minutes break. Okay, a 3-minute break. We'll cut it a little bit short so you guys aren't bored. Leave your comments in the comment section below. While this break video is playing, put comments in there, ask me some questions, and we will go through them right after the break. We'll be right back.
Other visitor management solutions are more of a one-size-fits-all that try to be good at visitor management in a variety of different scenarios or different establishments.
This is for lobbies in schools, lobbies in office complexes, hospitals, whatever these facilities are. We looked at manufacturing and saw they had very specific, unique challenges because of regulatory compliance, because of safety concerns that you don't see in those other types of environments.
If we look at some of the other options in the market, because they're not geared specifically towards manufacturing, they include a bunch of features that are maybe not necessary. It's just more nonsense, bloatware that you have to navigate around, and it starts to feel like you've just been pigeonholed into a software program that may not have been the best fit for you.
LobbyFox is both rigid and flexible, and what I mean by that is it's rigid in 100% of the time. It's gathering the correct visitor information. 100% of the time, it's keeping your company in compliance. 100% of the time, it's delivering the appropriate safety videos. It's flexible in the fact that it can be catered to each individual manufacturer's specific needs, but not only your current needs, it's made so that it's future-proof and flexible to evolve with you as you evolve.
We have an ever-increasing amount of back-end functionality, and that's based on feedback that's been provided by users for things that would make their job easier. One of the things that we've adopted based on user feedback is the ability to mass notify a large group of employees when important visitors arrive. And enabling the check-in kiosk to professionally and politely dismiss an unscheduled or an unwelcomed visitor has been one of our most popular features. The kiosk invites that visitor to check their phone for a text message, and the text message explains why unscheduled visitors are not accepted at the facility, and it gives them instructions for how to schedule a visit.
With all the other generic visitor management systems, you're stuck with one operating system and one piece of hardware. With LobbyFox, we're cross-platform, so we can operate on Windows, we can operate on iOS, and hardware, we operate anywhere from a tablet all the way up to a 40-inch touchscreen.
The badge printer we include with every one of our kiosks provides a lot of benefits to you in your check-in process. All of your employees will know the names of your visitors, which leads to a more positive impression of your facility. But then it also improves the security of your facility as well, because employees know who the visitor is supposed to be there to see and whether they've strayed away from their group.
When a visitor walks into a facility, the first impression matters, and it's one of the things that's greatly overlooked. If you've got a client that's walking in and the check-in process is tragic, there's no part of that that makes them feel like they're important to your business or that you were looking forward to their arrival.
LobbyFox improves reception and visitor orientation by delivering the relevant information specific for each visitor type and doing it 100% of the time consistently. No more, no less. We handle the hardware, the software, the design components, and we work with each individual client to make sure the solution is out of the box, automated, and ready to go for their specific needs. We spend a considerable amount of time visiting facilities so we actually understand the problems, not what someone believes the problem to be, what the real problem actually is. And that's why our solutions are much more effective than a lot of the competition.
Thank you guys for sitting through that short commercial break while we go through a couple of things on our end. And we have some comments, which we love to see. So doing things a little bit different than our normal lives, where I've got my computer. Now we got the team handling this. So let's go into any comments that are said. Bear with.
Shane Gorman says, greetings from New York.
What's up, Shane? New York, man. Not my favorite state, but because I'm from Chicago. But what's up, dude?
And then I have a question in here from Jonathan Soler. He says, let's say you're working with a large OEM already. What are some avenues to gain exposure to the rest of the sites that may not know you exist?
Let's say that, the rest of the locations, probably. He's saying the rest of the sites. Yeah, so that's a common issue, right? Like you're with a big OEM and they've got 47 plants or something like that are throughout the U.S. You've already got one of them locked down, right? So you should, the way that I would think of it is ask them who is their counterpart at their Kansas facility or in their Texas location. Who do they know who it is that makes the decisions for that stuff? Because that's really all you need initially is a name. Then you want to connect with them on LinkedIn. You want to try and get their email address and just be like, hey, we're already doing these things for this other company, your other location, and we're crushing it out there. So I wanted to see if you have 10 minutes for us just to have a quick conversation about it. Another thing you do is ask your main contact there if they can do an introduction. Maybe you can add them as a CC on the email and say, hey, we've been working with Joe for the last 12 months. We did X, Y, and Z for them. I want to see if you guys are open to us coming over there and talking about how we can possibly solve some of your problems. You don't want to go into it and again, show up and throw up and be like, we could do all these things. Just be like, I'm looking for a 10, 15-minute conversation to see, do you guys have similar issues that they dealt with, or what are your biggest problems in this capacity, and go through it like that. Now, ideally, there's like a global operations manager that says, if I make a decision here, then it's going to go across all the plants. That's ideal, right? But that usually never happens because there's not one person. All these plants, all these sites, as you call them, operate independently. So using whoever you know that can be like a testimonial for you, or doing a case study on that, do a case study and say, this company, we did these great things for it. And then say, hey, John, I just did this case study on one of your different locations. Would love to talk to you guys to see if we can help you out. Here's an attachment to the case study, whether it's a video, an article, whatever. That's the best way to get into multiple locations. Hopefully that helps.
All right. And then we have Zachary Thoma. He says, how do you feel about those free offers in terms of site visits for consulting? And then he gives a little bit of background and says, let me expand. I work in industrial robotics and have a great deal of experience with automating applications. A nice offer is to go in and do what I call an automation audit. It's a great way to see the plant, meet people, and offer great value for free. Unfortunately, it requires time, or it requires travel and can be time consuming. Also, you might get an enthusiastic engineer, but they get forced into corporate spec on a competitive brand. The time away from pursuing possibly more interested prospects.
Yeah. So as far as like breaking up your priority list, like you got to go into it being like, realistically, I'm going to go and try and visit these 3 companies and do this automation audit or this free consultation forum. And realistically, maybe one of them will have a deeper conversation with you. What I would do in that situation is, and what I used to do before, it may be different now, but what I always used to do is go into my maps on Google. So not going to Google Maps, but into my maps. I would upload a spreadsheet or a CSV, and it would put a pin location at the address of all of my prospects. So I can see hotspots throughout the US. And I'd zoom into a specific city and say, I want to go up to these 10 people, these 15 people over this time that I'm going to be around. And then the next step that I would do once I have the plan in my mind, I'm going to go hit up this city, is I would email and call those people and say, hey, John, hey, Susie, hey, Joe, I'm going to be in your area next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I wanted to provide a free automation audit for your company. Let me know if you're available from 1 to 2 o'clock. I'm visiting other companies in the area doing the same thing, and I've got limited availability. Already commit to you're going to be there, right? Whether it's in a week, 2 weeks, whatever. If it's local to you and you can just travel for a couple hours, say I'm going to be there at the end of this week, and try and line up as many appointments as you can to do this, to make it worth your while, because you're getting FaceTime with people. Now, if only 2 of them take it to the next step out of 10, that's okay, because it should be worth it from a dollar standpoint, right? Anybody else that has more opportunities for you, or they're lower hanging fruit for you, if you're doing that remote, you could do that while you're traveling too, right? If you're going to fly into Chicago or fly into Dallas and you're going to hit up as many people as you can over 5 days, you can answer all those emails remotely. You can work later in your hotel room. You could do it while you're on the road and work on those projects. Hopefully you're not having to like work 20 hours to build a quote, and you have a team that can do that for you. But the real main focus is you want to try and maximize your time by never going to any place, never traveling any place to see a single person, and piggyback as many appointments as you can on top of that visit. So I used to do it in numbers of in groups of 10. So I'd be like, I'm going into Indianapolis. I'm going to be there for 3 days. I try and get 10 appointments over those 3 days, because the appointments were a little bit lengthier. If your appointments are only an hour and a half, then try and get as many as you can in a single day. Get 8 to 9 of them if you have to in a single day. Start at 7 o'clock in the morning, end at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Do that for 3 days. Squeeze and pack as much as you can into that time frame. But you have to reach out to them, say, I'm going to be there already. What I've learned is that people, if they don't know exactly what it is that you do, and they're not 100% certain that they would go with you if you have a solution, because there's other issues that they have, whether it's like, oh, well, we spec this other stuff, or like my hands are tied. They don't want to say, yeah, come in, travel to me, because they're going to feel bad if you make the trip. So you take that off the table, take the guilt off the table from them, and say, look, dude, I'm already going to be there. I want to know if I can get 30 minutes of your time to do a quick automation audit. If you just let me walk the floor, you don't even have to walk it with me, or whatever it is that you do in your audit. Just give me like 15 minutes of your time. Make it as short and sweet as possible, and let them know you're already going to be there, because they don't want to have to pull you in. Now, some people may say, oh yeah, but then they're just going to bail if they don't know what effort you went through it. Dude, that's fine. If you, after 10, 15 people, you're going to get 4 or 5 of them that say last minute, I can't meet with you. That's okay. Pack that calendar tight to where, as that happens, you can then shift people around. You've got other people you can call to fill the gap and be like, hey, I just had a cancellation. I'm like literally 20 minutes away from you. Can I stop in? I'm sure you're busy, but can I stop in for like 20 minutes and just do this audit for you? That's a great way to do it. Hopefully that provides some value to you.
Yeah, Jonathan Wild says, I'm a huge fan of saying we are already going to be in town. Great advice.
All right, dude. That stuff works, man. That stuff works.
And then it looks like the other Jonathan on the live chimed in after you answered his question and said, that's perfect. Thanks so much for all your valuable input.
You got it, Jonathan, number 1. Go to that YouTube channel, man. There's over 250 videos. Hit that subscribe button and share it with someone you know. Hopefully somebody else can get some value. That's it. That's it for the comments. Well, guys, I appreciate, now we're going to get some last minute comment like we always do. There's always somebody, because there's a delay. There's like a 30-second delay from when I say something to when you hear it. And there's going to be somebody that's like, wait, I'm finishing my comment. And there it is. So it never fails. Go for it, Laura. Is there a comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zachary, who you also just answered his question, said, awesome. That's kind of how I do it now. Thanks.
Yeah. So if you already do it, so if you're already saying that you're going to be in the area, you're booking up those appointments, then what is the concern? Like what else do you want to happen? What's the roadblock? Is it that you're trying to prioritize who to go after because you've got lower hanging fruit? Like, from that standpoint, it doesn't necessarily always pay to travel, right? You got to look at it from a standpoint like, look, there's 24 hours in a day, and I want to make the most effective and efficient use of my time during that day. So when I'm working and traveling, and maybe you have a family and stuff, then you want to, what does that mean, Nick? A question mark? Oh, Nick's trying to say we have another question. I thought it was like Pictionary or something. It is I see it's a question mark. I just don't know what it means. Like, you want me to ask a question? So, yeah. Okay, you want to ask me one. All right. So, totally sidetracked. No, it's all good. So yeah, it could be something like you're trying to plan out your week and you want to make the most effective use of your time, or you're trying to plan out your 2 weeks, dude. Then you may not have to travel. You may I would say this, what's something that you can offer from your current location to people for free, right? If you have to travel to do the audit, is there something that you could do for free while you're at your office for them? I'd start thinking about like that and hit both of those avenues. But if there's a follow-up question that you have, either ask it now or shoot me an email over at askkyle@mfgtribe.com, and we could certainly answer it more specifically for you. Go ahead, Nick. Last question.
Oh, first of all, it looks like dedicated viewer Nathan chimed in and said, "I love the content and I appreciate the videos."
Nathan, our boy Nathan, our dude.
And then
Nathan's back, dude. What's up, bro?
And then we have one last question here. It says, we have a free trial of a software program. Is it too much of an ask to offer it to someone on a cold outreach? How do we soften the offering to truly feel like we're helping instead of pushing?
So you have a free trial, and the question is, should you offer that from the get-go? I would not offer the free trial from the get-go. Because here's what happens with free trials. I can give everybody watching this, even on replay, listening to it on the podcast, watching it on YouTube, I can give you all a free trial to TSU, Technical Sales University, with 8 hours of video content talking about how to sell technical stuff. I give everybody a free trial. Here's what the data shows. And this is not just my university and my content. The data shows that you're not going to use it. Because if it's for free, you've got no investment to it. Now, I'm not saying free trials aren't good, but to lead with that, to be like, hey, I've got this thing, free trial, you want to use it? They may take you up on it, and they may go into that free trial. But the chances they're not completely bought into actually trying it, then they want to do their research first. So I would say lead with providing value, right? Provide value to them first. Let them know about whatever your solution is. Provide value as much as possible. And then your follow-up can be a free trial. It's kind of like discount codes. You don't want to give a discount on the first time that you shoot your shot. You don't want to be like, hey, and also if you act now, I'll give you 20% off of this $697 special. Like, you don't want to go into it with that. You want to provide it from a standpoint like, this is valuable to you. This is going to save you time, money, efficiency, whatever it is, whatever is the ROI that they're going to get. So you want to tell them up front, here's my offer. Here's how we can help solve your problem. Here's some value that we can provide to you in the meantime. And then the second time you come back, hey, we've got this free trial running. Try and focus it around maybe the month of June, the month of May. We've got a 4th of July special. It's like Black Friday, right? Black Friday is everything's on sale. Normally $1,200. Now it's only $300, slashing our prices. Some people like to buy based on discount, but I would not lead with any sort of discount. I would save that for the second or third time that you're reaching out to them. We good? All right, guys, we're good for now. And hopefully there probably will be one last question that pops up for a comment. So we appreciate you taking your time. Your time is valuable, and we appreciate you taking your time to watch our content. You can go to the YouTube channel and see over 250 videos that we have up there of all stuff about industrial sales, technical sales, industrial marketing, and everything in between, because that's all that we know and that's all that we do here on this channel. So as always, we come live twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. If you have questions that you want answered on Mondays, send your questions over to askkyle@mfgtribe.com. We go live at noon on both days. Please turn on your notifications so it lets you know when we're coming live, and we will see you on the next one.